Well, hello and welcome to this English lesson about comfort. When we talk about comfort in English, we talk about the things that make us feel comfortable, the things that make us feel happy, the things that help us to relax, things that are soothing. That might be a new word for you, things that are soothing. I did do a lesson about a year ago on relaxing, where I talked about the things you can do to relax. This lesson is similar, but it's a little different. I'm going to be talking about the things that we like to have that help us to be comfortable, the things that give us comfort in life. So I'll talk about things like blankets and warm fires and all those kinds of things. So once again, welcome to this English lesson about comfort, where I'll teach you about 25 different words to talk about comfort in English. Comfy. So I wanted to start by first talking about the word comfy. So it is a short version of the word comfortable. Now, when you see the word comfortable, you might want to try and pronounce all of the sounds in the word, but we just say comfortable. And if we don't feel like saying that, which is easy, we say comfy. Here I'm wearing a comfy shirt. When I get home on Fridays, I often put this sweatshirt on because it's really comfy. It's nice and warm, especially in the winter. Sometimes in our house, it's a little bit chilly in some rooms. So I put on a comfy sweatshirt. We also call this a hoodie, by the way. I put this on because it's comfy. It's comfortable. It just feels nice. It's like the shirt's giving me a hug when I get home from work. So comfy simply means comfortable, and it's our first word in this lesson. I don't even know if it's a real word. I should have looked it up. I think it's in the dictionary. We use it quite a bit. A hug. So one of the things that can give you comfort, one of the things that can make you feel loved or appreciated, or that someone likes you and cares for you, is a hug. A hug from your mom, a hug from your partner, a hug from your spouse, a hug from a friend you haven't seen for a long time. All of these things make us feel happy. They give us comfort and they give us a little bit of joy. So if there's someone in your family that needs a hug today, you should hug them after this lesson. It's definitely something that brings people comfort in life, a nice hug. But be careful here. At least in Canada, we don't hug everybody. So I don't hug people at work. That would actually be a little bit strange in my part of the world. I will hug my mom. I will hug Jen. I will hug my kids. If a friend of mine came to visit who I hadn't seen for a while, I would give them a hug. But it's not something we do all the time. I should do a whole lesson on displays of affection sometime. A pillow, a blanket. These two things are probably the number one and number two things that give people comfort. When I sit on a couch, it's nice to have a pillow. If I'm watching the Raptors game and it's a little chilly, sometimes I will have a blanket as well. It just helps when you sit on a couch or in a big chair. It's nice to have a little pillow to make it more comfortable, to make it more comfy. I'm going to say those words a lot. Or to have a nice blanket. The pillow makes it easier to relax. The blanket makes you feel nice and cozy and warm. There's another good word for you, cozy. When something is cozy, it means it's kind of, it helps you stay warm and happy and very, very comfortable. A weighted blanket. So this is a new thing. I actually don't like weighted blankets, but these are very popular right now in Canada, and I would imagine in the United States. A weighted blanket is a blanket that is heavy. It actually has things sewn into it to make it heavier than a normal blanket. Jen has a normal blanket. Two of my kids, a weighted blanket. Two of my kids have weighted blankets. I find they're just a little, it's a little too much for me. I think I like my blankets lighter, but this can feel like the blanket is giving you a hug, I think. I think that's what the joy is of a weighted blanket. Let me know in the chat if any of you have weighted blankets. I'd be curious to know. But again, it has something sewn into it. It might even be like little beans or some other dried heavy thing That makes the blanket heavy and nice to wear. A fire. Now, we had a wood stove. This is a wood stove. This person is sitting in front of a wood stove. We didn't have a fireplace. So a wood stove is a metal stove that you use to burn wood to heat your house and to stay warm. A fireplace is like in the wall and it's made of brick. And you can have a fire in a fireplace as well. We used to have a wood stove. The wood stove was considered dangerous by our insurance company. So we eventually took the wood stove out. But when we had the wood stove, it was very, very nice. When you had a wood fire, the smell of the wood burning was very, very nice. The heat from the wood stove was very, very nice. So I would say this is on like a high level of comfort. For me, if I can sit in front of a wood stove, I really, really like it. Jen's parents still have a wood stove. We don't have one anymore. So yeah, a little bit dangerous, but if you take care of them and use them properly, they work well. Slippers. So I actually wear slippers sometimes. There's a couple of reasons to wear slippers. By the way, slippers are like small, warm, cozy shoes. They're sometimes like a big sock. These are a little more like shoes. They are footwear that you wear in the house to keep your feet warm, or maybe just because you don't like walking around in bare feet or sock feet. By the way, bare feet is when you have no socks or shoes on. Or sock feet is when you just have socks on. Did you know that? I should explain again. You can walk around in sock feet or bare feet. We don't say shoe feet though. That's not a thing. Or you can wear slippers. So sometimes in the winter, when it's really, really cold and it's hard to keep our house warm, I will wear a pair of slippers to keep my feet warm and to be comfortable. Very, very nice. I love slippers. And socks. So you'll notice that a lot of these pictures have to do with things you do for comfort when you live somewhere cold. So I know many of you live somewhere warm, and there might be other things you do, but there's a certain, how would you describe this? It's nice to wear really warm socks in the winter in Canada. It's nice to have a pair of slippers for your feet in Canada. Both of these items give you comfort. I have normal socks for work, but I also have some socks that are thicker. And I just find sometimes on the weekend, I wear my thicker socks because at work I have shoes on all the time. But at home, we just walk around in our house in sock feet. So it's nice to have a nice thick pair of warm socks. Very, 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 very nice to have. And then, of course, you could always have a warm bath. A warm shower is nice. A warm bath is even nicer. A warm bath is nice after maybe you've gone to the gym and worked out, and the next day your muscles are sore and you're looking for some comfort, some relief. Having a warm bath would be one way to do that. A warm bath, you can smell the aroma. Maybe you put some scented body wash or something in the water, and it just feels really, really nice and smells really, really nice. The steam, maybe if your nose is stuffed up, the steam helps to make your nose start to run. That's not a nice picture I'm making there, but anyways, a warm bath. I've always enjoyed these in the winter. I do not enjoy baths in the summer. Normally I'll just have a hot shower, and I think a hot shower would be the same. Like, I find a hot shower very comforting for sure. By the way, you can say a hot bath or warm bath. Warm shower or hot shower, we generally use the word hot. A hot tub. So again, listen to how I say this. A hot tub, not a hot tub. There's no pause. It should be one word. In fact, I think some people spell it that way, but a hot tub is a special kind of tub that's usually outside. They can be inside. That's filled with very, very hot water. And it usually has a pump that makes bubbles. So the water is circulated very rapidly. And when you sit in a hot tub, it's very soothing. A hot tub is especially nice if you have sore muscles or a sore back. It's nice to sit in a hot tub. Jen and I, many years ago, before we had children and where we could do fun things, we went to Blue Mountain, and they have hot tubs outside in the winter. So you kind of come out of the building and you run in the freezing cold weather to the hot tub, and then you get in the hot tub and you're in this very, very hot, warm, bubbly water in the hot tub. Very, very soothing, very nice for your muscles. Definitely a lot of comfort when you're in a hot tub. Very, very nice. So some people really like certain articles of clothing, and those can make you happy. Those can bring comfort as well. Some people, like I said, when I get home on a Friday, I put on an old sweatshirt. Some people have an old pair of jeans or a t-shirt that just makes them feel happy. Like, it's fun to put on an old t-shirt and an old pair of jeans on a Friday night after work and sit down and have a hot cup of coffee or tea or have hot chocolate. All of those things to me say comfort. That would be a very, very nice evening for me. So again, this isn't necessarily the jeans you wear when you go out, but it might just be you bought a pair of jeans once and they just fit really nicely. And so they give you comfort when you wear them. Any kind of warmth, and I think sunshine is the next one. Any kind of warmth gives humans comfort. When you walk outside on a nice warm day, not too warm, when you sit in front of a wood stove like this person is doing, warming up their feet, when you get up in the morning, like for us, the house is colder at night. We keep the house cold at night. And in the morning, the furnace starts running around 6:30 and hot air starts to come out of the air vents to warm up the house. Warmth, it's hard to say, isn't it? Warmth is a very, very nice, comforting thing. As humans, if you live in a country where it can be cold outside, it's nice to have a place that you live where there is warmth, where you have a feeling of warmth. I love this, by the way. When we're at Jen's parents', sometimes we come in from the cold and we sit by the wood stove, and the warmth of the wood stove is very, very comforting. Sunshine, I mentioned. As humans as well, we love to feel the sun on our skin. The winter in Canada is sometimes a little bit gray, like the sun isn't out right now when I look out the window. But it certainly is nice on days where it starts to, like Monday, my class walked to town for a class trip, and there was a little bit of sunshine on the way back, and it was very, very nice. I very much enjoyed the sunshine. It's funny how things that bring comfort, like warmth and sunshine, they make you feel, you could describe it by saying they make you feel warm inside, like you have a nice warm feeling. That means joy or cheer or happiness, like when you have a warm feeling. Deep breathing. It's nice. Deep breathing. Sometimes when you are feeling the opposite of comfort, when you're feeling the opposite of happiness, when you're feeling stress, if you do some deep breathing, if you just go somewhere quiet and take 5 or 10 deep breaths, it can really change your mood and make you feel a lot better. So again, stress is kind of the opposite of comfort. Do you understand that? You know, work is stressful. When you're home, you're very comfortable. So when you're feeling stress, this is one of the things that you can do to de-stress a little bit. If you are looking to do that, you can to do some deep breathing. So we talked about comfort food a little bit earlier. And then there's also, oh, I put the wrong picture there. That's not a drink, Bob. Anyways, comfort food. Someone asked about this earlier. Comfort food is usually hot food. It's, I think, something I associate with, fall or winter, the seasons in Canada where it's cold outside. It's nice to have a hot bowl of soup or a hot bowl of stew. Stew is just a thicker soup, if you're wondering. And I mentioned earlier that for me, comfort food, when I think of comfort food, I think of a hot bowl of soup and some fresh made bread, like the smell of bread baking in the oven or in the bread machine. That's where we make our bread. And a bowl of hot soup. To me, that's comfort food. At school, sometimes on Fridays, we take turns bringing food in. So 3 people will bring food in, and the whole staff, all the teachers will share a meal. And I would consider that comfort food because it's usually soup and fresh bread and things like that. It's very, very yummy. Sometimes a cup of coffee, a cup of hot chocolate, a cup of tea. All of those things bring comfort. It's just so nice. And again, I'm talking a lot about cold countries. Sometimes you use the cup of tea to warm up your hands while you're drinking the tea. If Jen or I work outside in the winter, when we come in, sometimes your hands are cold. And so the tea warms up your hands, but it's also soothing to drink the tea as well. A phone call. So sometimes we refer to comfort as relief as well. So let's say someone, again, a little bit, remember I said it's the opposite of stress. Sometimes when someone phones you and lets you know they arrived somewhere, you have a feeling of comfort or you relax a little bit. Sometimes it's just nice to talk to an old friend, or maybe you have a sibling, a brother or sister that lives far away, and a phone call is just something that makes you feel better and enjoy the day a little bit more. So a phone call can bring comfort as well. And maybe they'll say things to you that make you feel better as well. Soft lighting. So this is what I would call warm lighting. So you can see it's a little bit yellow, a little bit orange. In English, we might say yellowish or orangish. Sometimes we add ish to the end of the word. At night, I like this color of lighting. I don't like harsh white light like what's on me right now. If I'm going to sit and read a book at night, I like soft lighting like this. That certainly makes the room feel a little bit more cozy and a little bit more enjoyable to be in. So soft lighting would be lighting like this. Not very bright. And also the color is a little bit, it's not pure white. It's a little bit orange, a little bit yellow. Pets. So cats, dogs, they're probably the most cuddly and nicest pests, not pests. Sorry. Did you know if you switch the S and T, it's an animal or insect you don't like? So like raccoons are pests, flies are pests. But pets, of course, do bring comfort. It might be nice to sit with your dog. You might have a cat that likes to sit on your lap at night and purr. And for some reason, humans and pets, there's a level of comfort that comes from having a pet. In fact, I'm pretty sure they've proven scientifically that people who have a pet are usually happier. Okay. I don't think this is true of me. I think it's true of Jen and 1 or 2 of my kids. But definitely pets are something that, well, look how cute they are. Doesn't that, just looking at them, make you feel happy? The cat looks a little annoyed though, because I said pests instead of pets. But maybe I should do a lesson on words that words that are really similar if you switch a couple of letters. But pets can bring comfort. Stuffed animal. So if you are a child, you all were children at one point, you probably had a stuffed animal. You might have even had a blanket as a child. A lot of times a child will have a blanket they carry around with them, or they'll have a stuffed animal and a blanket. And they have these things for comfort. These objects, these things bring them comfort. When I was a kid, did I have a little dog? I think I did. And I definitely had a blanket when I was a kid. I don't remember what it looked like. And all of our kids at a certain point in time, for comfort, would have a blanket or a stuffed animal. Very common for children to have those things. A sauna. So we say sauna in English. I think the correct pronunciation is sauna. Those of you from the Scandinavian countries, Northern Europe, can correct me. We don't have saunas in our houses in Canada normally. But when you go to a hotel and you go down to the pool, there might be a pool, a hot tub, and a sauna at the hotel. A sauna is a room filled with very hot, moist air. Okay. You can see some of the moisture right here. And it will make you sweat and it will make you very warm. They're supposed to be very, very healthy for you. It's supposed to be healthy to go in a sauna and sweat for a bit and then jump in a pool afterwards. But a sauna is another thing that can bring you a sense of relaxation, something that is very soothing. Before the lesson, Freddie mentioned that he was sitting in his comfy chair. I think that's what he said. And I responded and said, there is a slide for that. So here it is. A comfy chair is any chair that you find very comfortable. Comfy chair. So this is a recliner. We sometimes call it a lazy boy. It doesn't have to be a recliner. Your comfy chair might be an old rocking chair. I find this chair from 1958 that I use to be a very comfy chair. Although the bottom, I think the bottom cushion's getting a little worn out. But a comfy chair is, of course, then a chair that you enjoy sitting in. Maybe it's a chair where you sit to read a book. Maybe you sit to watch TV. Maybe you just put the chair back and go to sleep. Some people like to have naps in their comfy chair. My mom has a comfy chair and she likes to take naps in her comfy chair. But yes, a chair that is very, very comfortable. So I mentioned potpourri. If you're wondering where this lesson came from, it came from last week. I talked about the word potpourri. This is potpourri. Potpourri is like dried flower petals and maybe some spices in a bowl that gives a room a certain aroma. It gives off a certain comforting smell. Okay. So potpourri, it might be, I'm trying to think, like lavender. It might have lavender in it, a very nice smelling flower. It might have dried peony petals in it, another nice smelling flower. But yes, potpourri, not as common as it used to be. I remember growing up in the late 80s, a lot of people would have potpourri. Maybe everyone's houses smelled really bad back then, so they had a little bit of potpourri to make things smell better. But yes, dried flower petals and maybe different types of spices to make a room in a home smell very, very appealing and nice. Candles, also dangerous. By the way, when the power goes out, it's not recommended that you use candles. It should be the thing you use as a last resort, because a candle obviously has a flame and that can start a fire. So if the power goes out, you should use like other rechargeable lights before you decide to use candles. But candles are really, they create a certain coziness in a room. Like at Christmas, when we have Christmas dinner, we have candles on the table and the candles smell nice. The candles give off a nice soft light. The candles, they flicker and they're nice to watch and they just make the room seem a little more cozy. So sometimes if you, maybe you come home and you're going to have a bath and you light a few candles and you have a hot bath or a warm bath, that to me would be something you would do because you want comfort. You want something that's comfortable and enjoyable. But be careful with the candles. Houseplants. So actually, 2 weeks ago, I had to sub for a teacher. Was I subbing? I forget. But in their classroom, they had lots of houseplants. So I know it's not their house. We still call them houseplants. And it just created a really nice feeling. When we have green plants around us, it can be very comforting. When you go for a walk out in the forest, it can be very comforting and soothing to have lots of green plants around you. So houseplants are another thing that can bring comfort.